So, to keep things short and part of the intro, last year, yes, someone close to me did pass, and so monitoring the current situation closely, it doesn't look bad at the moment, but I guess we'll see what actually happens. So, the only other thing to mention as we get that exquisite taste random item stats is that I have switched around the mysteries again, and I need a cough. Yeah. Normally I'd mute, but my body's going crazy. But as we sit here, and we'll play a Kana run here really quickly. I say quickly, but exquisite taste, random item stats, and let's get into it. So, oh my goodness, for timestamp's sake, as we get into Yogatag, exquisite taste, random item stats, Kana, just slowly introducing. The only other thing to mention on the channel, kind of tangentially, is that the uploads, the next videos that come out were probably already recorded like a few days ago, but as we get second encounter, knowledge, light, charisma, second mystery, and maybe a dexterity check. But at the time of this video, yeah, they're relatively old for the relative time in which I recorded those videos. But you'll know when they arrive because it won't sound like I'm making sense time-wise, but hey, I've done what I could. So, no, I'll show you the consistent, or at least what I consider to be the more consistent strat here. At least for Exquisite Taste, because Exquisite Taste is often a matter of Monument versus Illegal Den. But you're really only enabling the hardware store, which I'm probably going to enable instead of Illegal Den. Instead of the Illegal Den, because the hardware store grants me the strength items and 2 weapons that I really like, as opposed to the Legal Den, where I'm really only looking for the army knife. But if I'm, say, Moriko, Mimi, Haru, even Aiko, if I'm one of those 4 characters, probably like another 1 or 2 characters, then I would probably enable the Monument instead, because they start with a weapon. Mimi is not usually the best weapon. I've seen half and half, both myself and other people, play with a more knowledge-based weapon, like the Ritual Dagger or the small basically a cold chop. But, the scalpel is perfectly serviceable. Now, is it the most reliable? Probably not, but I consider using it. And because basically the odds are so close, in my opinion, that you can work with the scalpel or you can go buy another weapon. So, Bulletin, Household Hell, Recluse, Rider, and Madness. I do not remember anything, but I do know that Recluse is going to be a doozy, and we also need access, hopefully, okay, yeah. There's a ghost encounter here as well, I just realized, but it's too late. So, and you might have seen that I enabled rest instead of prepare. That's because we go with basically the pre 1.0 strat. So for those who did not play World of War before the game was released with version 1.0, you normally went to the tree for funds until the prepare action was added to the game, which I think was added before that as well. But the most important part to note is that you got your funds off the tree, which is still perfectly serviceable. I won't really knock. In fact, it's actually, in my opinion, still a very, what's the word I'm looking for here? It's a consistent strat, in my opinion. Even if the curses you get are like branded into suicidal or branded into paranoia, any kind of proccing perks, you'll still appreciate the 4 funds in total you get for those 2 curses. Now, if you get double flashbacks and you start with 4 less dexterity, shrug, right? But that happens like 9% of the time. I'm eyeballing it. That's probably not even close to the actual theoretical probability. But at least from what I recall my own numbers as being, it's still a very reliable strat. Because again, in Exquisite Taste, at least in my experience and opinion, disabling rest and enabling prepare hasn't gone that well for me. Only a few characters can really deal with that, and that's mainly because either they have some kind of perk, if they're lucky, on level up, like First Aid for Mimi, or Discipline for Aiko even, or Aiko just being Aiko with Fast Swimmer. They can essentially either recover HP directly or indirectly mitigate HP loss through primarily battle. So, as we get this is going to be a very, very ghost encounter heavy run. Now, thankfully, we're Kana, so the fact that we don't die to reason or stamina is great, but that doom is going to quickly increase. Now, the flip side of that, to end this little tangent, is that since we have Recluse, our doom is going to be a lot lower. Let me repeat that. If you have Recluse in your run, just assume you have 10% more doom to work with. It's quite, or at least 10% of doom more HP, if you want to say it another way. The reason I say that is because the fact that you're not investigating as many events, and primarily a lot of apartment events are not as painful, and you're not running into apartment enemies, I don't think, if I recall correctly. So yeah, there's not really much else to say about that. Now, unfortunately, we can't take less stamina damage here unless I forego a sever. But we don't want to not sever, so we just take this in the face and we take pretty much 5 doom. I forgot what I was talking about before. Oh, yeah, weapons and tree, and for treeing for fun, so you can get a weapon. You basically, if you're a character that doesn't start with a weapon, then you can either tree for funds or prepare. And in an exquisite taste run, IN space AN, exquisite taste run, you will end up having to trade either prepare for rest, which I wouldn't recommend most of the time, or you have to tree for funds, which, yeah, you could get curse RNG, but either curse RNG or strategy without rest. Let me repeat that again as we get into Recluse here. Either you take the double curse, which it could just be double flashbacks, and now you're just worried about getting a broken bone because you have 5 dexterity like I am with Kana, or you prepare and then you can't rest, and so you have to really think about what you can and cannot fight. Now, that being said, since we're on a Yogatag run, we are going to take a little bit more Doom. But say if I were on a Kathak run, then yes, I would not want to disable rest and use prepare because, well, I can't run from combat. And in a non-Kathak run, you can get away with prepare over rest in an Exquisite Taste backstory run. Yes, I'm saying a lot of hoopla for the moment, but just bear with me. It all makes sense, I feel. But since you can run away from, say, the Rumu Ghost in the Rumu Ghost in the mansion. I almost said Rumu Ghost in the hospital. You essentially are not losing that big, fat all damage in a Kathak run where you can't run away and you're like, oh, I can't rest either. As opposed to a non-Kathak run where you can rest and so you can run away, sorry. And so if you run into the Rumu Ghost, you can run away and then you can prepare still in an Exquisite Taste backstory. Again, this is all about Exquisite Taste backstory. I'm going crazy. My mind's going crazy. Anyway, we're going to lose another 5 Doom here, but again, perfectly fine. And if nothing else, the alternate way to sum all this up is that if I end Recluse here with under 40% Doom, I'm doing a thumbs up in real life. Good. Number-wise, I feel. And if that's not good, well, feel free to tell me why it's not. Unfortunately, we can't do much else. What was that? Was that suicide? Yeah, so we did get suicidal, by the way. But we thankfully don't have branded, which would have done a lot worse for us in the run. Also, in Recluse, Yogatag can't hit you at all because you're in the safety of your own home. That's not an immersive reason. I'm just, trying to spice things up by saying that Yogatag isn't going to slap you in the face with 2 Doom, possibly. So, we have Rider. I think Rider is pretty much free. We'll take Bulletin now then, because we can, if I can speak correctly, run into enemies back to back to back to back to back. That's all I have to say. Now, we didn't really get to use this Carpenter Hammer. I think we ran into like 3 ghosts in a row, funny enough, so shrug. Also, Kana has 4 luck, but that's nearly a non-issue as well. We also did not use the police station. Might as well use it now. We're going to be visiting the forest. Are we going to be visiting it more? I don't remember if Ryder takes you into the forest. Doesn't sound like it'd be a mystery that takes you into the forest, but we'll see. My knee. But as we roll a 12 on perception and lose some Doom, we're just really hoping Yogatag doesn't look where we are investigating. Again, because we have Recluse, it's a lot better. And I guess we can get into the theory behind that. Some theory crafting on a non-Recluse run with Yogatag here. So, if you do have Yogatag, but you don't have Recluse, essentially our Doom could be like 52% right now. So you really have to look for ways in which you can get rid of get rid of Doom or keep Doom to a minimum. Now, on an Exquisite Taste run, if you have Yogatag Exquisite Taste, then you're like, well, I have to choose the Monument, but if I choose the Monument over the 2 stores, I guess you can consider going Dog Shop if you really need a weapon, but then I'm trying to figure out if that's better than the police station, because a lot of the time we didn't visit the forest yet, let's do that now. A lot of the time the police station is saving you around, I would say around like 4 or 5% Doom per run, minimum. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's more, but I say on average it's like 45% Doom, because you will lower the threat level of a location below max, which means you're not taking extra Doom. And so if you end up doing that, are we forced to buy one of these? Gosh dang it. Well, anywho, so you're not visiting, say, even especially a high threat level location where you're taking penalty damage, you are saving like 1 or 2 stamina. Basically, you're saving a point of HP every time you use the police station successfully. So what ends up happening is that if you trade that off for a weapon, yeah, I would say that a weapon helps you lose less HP overall. Okay, good. Helps you lose less HP overall, but the PlayStation is nothing to cough at either. The reason why I'm kind of debating over this in my head right now is because I'm trying to figure out if basically the steak knife is worth it, and it's really a dexterity weapon anyway, so that's why I'm less inclined to choose the dog shot. Maybe I should test it out sometime, if for no other reason than to get one out of very, very, very many runs in which we can see what happens when we pick dog shop over. If we need to pick monument, to pick dog. Let me reword what I was gonna say here. If we need to pick Dog Shop and Monument in a exquisite taste backstory run, let me say that again because it's clear this time. If I need to pick Dog Shop and get the steak knife, right? And then enable Monument in an exquisite taste run to get a weapon, is that going to be better off for me normally? I mean, it says I would think it's close enough. It doesn't matter on average, theoretically, but practically, yeah, considering my RNG, I don't know if it's going to go so well. I guess I'll save Rider for last. And we get nothing. So, strength it is, because we're using the Carpenter Hammer anyway. Let's grab some students here because of our high Doom. 2 students, preferably. Unless we already have allies, but which we don't. So, I could trade... Oh, we don't even have an experience to trade off. Well, you know what? Sure, we'll have 7 luck. Watch it not matter. So just keep bonus point. Keep an eye on any luck checks from now on. Let's see if I roll. Let's see if I even succeed another luck check, basically. But as we sit here and move on, so again, we have Household Hell, which is a longer mystery, or it could be a longer mystery. We lose. I was like, I see success, and I see Kana die to stamina there, and I'm just like, why does it have to be this way? Anyway, again, we don't have Monument here. Monument would grant us very much an extra amount of Doom, but Shrug, right? Okay, that's pretty. I have to remember a lot of these free outs from these events. It's a knowledge check. I've talked about it before. I do think knowledge checks are they should be sprinkled in somewhere in any video game, because otherwise, what's the point of playing some strategy games? I'm not saying it would be a game with perfect strategy. What, there's a phrase for it, but basically, I'm going crazy. Okay, we did succeed a luck check. We do have a bunch of sewing kits as well, but I didn't want to use them right away. I probably should have, actually. Now that we have 79% Doom here. I was about to say, is Yogotek looking at us? Anywho. Anyway, yeah, Household Hell and... Hey, quick thinking. But Household Hell and Yogotek. Obviously, Yogotek is not hitting us while we are sitting here, but the problem is that the rest of these events could slap me just as hard. So that's why I kind of considering breaking even. Because although your Yogotek is not giving you 2+ Doom in a lot of... it's not giving you 2+ Doom, we'll just say that. I'm gonna gamble here. These events and running into enemies like the whole ring thing can hurt you just as much. Shrug. So, as we gamble again, we're gonna... I feel like I'll need to gamble here. I feel like I don't need to, actually, but we're just gonna do it anyway. I'm gonna stuff toy option select, actually. Okay, good. Really should have actually... So, a small little... Especially if I'm using handcuff or, item use tech, I really should use the non-certain attack first. And the reason why is so that you have more time to react, because the way I set it up, where I did a prep attack, non-guaranteed attack afterward, I have to react to the second attack a lot quicker, if that makes any sense. If it doesn't make sense, I'll explain more. But basically, if I put, say, the 80% attack first and then do prep attack, that attack that could miss... I can react earlier to it because obviously it happens first, and then the second guaranteed attack happens as I move into the stuffed toy to use it, or moving to the handcuffs to use it, or throwing a weapon. It's any amount of those things. I don't know. I'm just going to drink the soft drink because I don't remember which one is which. That's Doom decrease? Sure. But we did visit this mansion in its entirety, so even with Recluse, this Doom would be okay if it weren't for the fact that we have another mystery left. We also never got time skip as well, so that could just slap us in the face even if we had, say, 84% Doom left, but shrug, right? So, yeah, maybe I'll consider it next time. Anywho, I just realized at this point in the video that I should have been playing Mimi because this is supposed to be a Mimi and May video, and that was my filler series for this month. But anyway, we're just playing as Kana here. I guess it's a good way to get back. I don't know why I completely forgot. I forgot because there's a lot of stuff happening in life. But anywho, I guess we just pray that we hit all three of these. That's not good to pray on, but hey, in fact, oh my goodness, I got rid of Desperate Struggle. Let's actually put theory to practice. So normally I would suggest you do this if you are so 80%, 90%, 90% if you're trying to hit all three. But because we have an option, I think we have an option select here with the thing, because each Carpenter Hammer is doing 10 damage if I hit 2. But assuming we hit 2, because there's a low chance we miss both of these on non-guaranteed attacks, we can Stuff Toy and not Stuff Toy. Oh, I thought this was the doll in which you deal. I'm going completely crazy. I'm actually not tired right now, so I don't know why my brain is going. But basically, if this were the item in which you spend stamina to deal damage, then we could do that instead. But that's not what I have here. So instead, we have the handcuffs. So we still have an option select, but you get the point. So basically, if I see myself missing both of those attacks, or missing one of those attacks, I use the handcuffs on the second hit. Unless I just missed 2, but at that point, we weren't doing enough damage to get rid of an enemy anyway. But anywho, you know, it would be nice to pass a lot of these stat checks, but because RNG is, man, pain happens. So what would I change in this thing? I guess, I mean, something that's more consistent, because I could say something along the lines I should have enabled Dog Shop instead of Police Station and enabled Monument instead of the Seaside, but I'm trying to think of something else I could have done. I guess you, the viewer, can probably think of something, because I'll just end this video and not waste any more of your time!